85% of plastics do not get recycled, even when it has the recycling symbol. Growing up in Los Angeles, you realize that's not just a statistic. This city is filled with so much beauty and art and life, but it's overflowing with trash. My neighborhood specifically, the sidewalks get buried in trash, which causes flooding, and I'm constantly walking past lots filled with dumped furniture, old containers, and things that were meant to be reused. I wanted to act in a way that would improve well-being, growing plants. I planted in my garden utilizing recycled materials, and I hope some aspect of this video, whether it's the care, creativity, or sustainability part, inspires you as well. This was my garden a little over 6 months ago, filled with trash, completely neglected, and really unmotivating to witness. All of the progress from clearing that out can be seen in the last video that I posted. And now, this is what it looks like at my time of starting, February 1st, 2025. Okay, hello guys, I'm here to talk to you about the pre-planning process. I am mapping out the layout of the garden, and I am going to basically make a chart with my current assessments on it, and then I'm going to figure out, based on sun location and based on soil that already exists, how everything in relation to one another will be the most environmentally friendly and not cause any problems. So basically I went into Photoshop, and that's where I decided I would plan everything out. I have a little post-it note here as well, with just like the things that I need to keep in a master doc so that I don't get confused visually. I went in, added grid lines, and then I marked out the major like unmovable objects like the garage. I put in a compass so I can keep track of the sun movement. This document really allowed me to play with things and visualize them out better. I also went on Pinterest and I saved photos of things that inspired me throughout the project, so I had a plan for the future and things I could recreate. Having all of these reference pictures allowed me to figure out what materials I needed in order to recreate them. I went to Lowe's despite not wanting to support big box stores because of its accessibility. I don't like how wasteful they are. For example, charging for plastic saucers when those can be literally made out of your own normal products. They also throw away a lot of plants that aren't even dying, they're just thirsty. But regardless, I still went and I walked. So it gave me perspective and made me more mindful of what I could carry.
I've got a vision so clear in my head.
I wish I could explain the rhyme or reason behind how I gathered the stuff that I did, but a lot of it just presented itself. I have pavers that my neighbor was giving away, and whenever I went to take out the recycling, I would save scraps from the bin that I knew I could use and recycle better than California could. For example, I needed to solve the weed problem in my backyard, and instead of throwing away my old shower curtain, I realized I could use it as a weed barrier instead of buying the expensive fabric. I cut holes in it to ensure drainage, but it's also large enough to prevent major things from coming up.
I read the lines you wrote, left hidden in my coat. It's the truth. It's the truth. And it's a lie. She loved to be alone, alone, to feel the shape of herself at home. That could not be known. Like a stranger on the street, whose eyes you fed to me. He loved to be alone, alone, to feel the limits of his hours blown, scattered and thrown, like on a windy day. Meaning passed away. It's the truth. It's the truth. And it's a lie.
This bed right here is officially weed-proofed using the soil bags that I bought to fill the beds with. So yeah, also these are my hands. My neighbor, who's really educated in gardening and super skilled, ended up giving me a bunch of stuff throughout this whole project, like seeds and plant starts. I ended up using my Photoshop doc from earlier to put out the plants that I wanted onto it, and I just used little acronyms to figure out where everything could go. For the actual planting process itself, what I did for every plant was I dug a hole and then I filled the bottom of the hole with water just to ensure that the roots got enough and that it wasn't dry, because a lot of this soil is brand new. And then I took the plant out of the pot and I massaged the roots so that the plant would know that it was out of its original container and has enough space to grow and doesn't get root bound. And then for this tomato plant in specific, I staked it And I also put it in a cage because it's supposed to grow really large and needs extra support. For this area, I'm referencing the gardening books from earlier, and I'm companion planting. So I'm planting tomatoes with peppers and basil. And basically what companion planting is certain plants encourage different kinds of pests, and so you can partner plants together that would usually bring harmful pests on their own, but then the plants next to them are bringing the beneficial ones. So you don't have any pest problems, and they tend to grow better with one another. For the center diamond bed, I tried to plant all the herbs together, so it's a mini herb garden, and a lot of these plants I pick at around the same time as one another. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the layout of this bed, and the way I'm thinking about it is in terms of direction. This diamond is facing east, which means this corner, and I believe that corner, get more sun than this corner and that one, which is why I was going to plant more herbs in this corner, because it's like morning sun, but then afternoon sun not as much. And now I'm debating, because chamomile does not like afternoon sun, they like morning sun. And that spot over there where I already planted the rosemary gets more morning sun and not as much afternoon sun. So I'm scared that my chamomile is gonna like start to wilt because it's too hot. And also today's really hot. So I don't know if I should swap them or not, because I already planted that rosemary like kind of a while ago. So it's not, it wouldn't be as easy of a swap. So I'm really debating. Because even once the lavender and the rosemary grow in, because the sun is coming up, this is morning sun right now, this is like 9 a.m. sun, because it's coming up, these wouldn't provide any shade over here. I have these funnels that are mini irrigation systems, and the way they work is they take plastic bottles and you fill those bottles with water, and then it becomes a slow release watering system. And then you can also easily fertilize plants like this, and you can release things deeper and directly into the soil. So I was able to use the plastic water bottles I was collecting to provide extra support to the plants that needed more water. And then I was also using an egg carton, a biodegradable one, to start poppy seeds and cosmos. Using a biodegradable egg carton is super helpful in two ways, because you can plant it directly into other containers, and the lid portion of it can help provide extra humidity for when you're getting your seeds started. I also lined the bottom of the tire with newspaper to fill with soil and use as a plant pot. And then when I was first looking at my garden, I noticed that there was a lantern that had broke, and I was able to reuse the top portion of the lantern to make wind chimes. So basically what I did was I used pliers and little O-rings so I could hang chimes from them. And then I also put in these little plastic bits to prevent the rings from shifting and being uneven in spacing. And then I had been collecting bottle caps on my walks home from the bus stop and stuff. And what I did was I just flattened out little parts of those bottle caps and I poked holes in them so I could hang them up.
Dijimos que fue solo casualidad, pero nos encontramos al pasar. No podías creerme la primera vez. Tuviste que pedirme que
And then I ended up attaching other things like can tabs and bells and beads and other things for noise. I also put on like buttons and stuff because I wanted to have fun. This is by far my favorite one that I've made so far. This is the bottom. It has a little bell. And then this ring and a star and then a more star. And then I learned for extra slack I can use safety pins so that it's nice and tightly knit. And then this one has a whole lot of beer bottles, beer cap bottles, but this is it. And then these are the other ones. So it'll be like that. And I'm gonna make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more, or 6 more. Yeah. Working on this garden has been a huge, daunting project for me that I've been wanting to take on for multiple years at this point. I am extremely thankful that I was able to get it done, even if there were a lot of bumps in the road. Just being in the space and seeing it makes me so extremely happy.